Всем добрый день. Вижу, участники уже присоединяются. Добро пожаловать на совместное онлайн-заседание двух комитетов Франко-российской торгово-промышленной палаты. Это комитет по ритейлу, по розничной торговле и комитет по пиар, коммуникациям и маркетингу. Несколько технических замечаний в начале. Просьба себя обозначить как участника в формате имя, фамилия, компания. Если вы не знаете, как это сделать, мы сейчас в чате подробно пропишем. Сегодняшнее заседание у нас проходит на двух языках с синхронным переводом: английский и русский. Наши уважаемые спикеры сегодня будут говорить по-английски. Если вам комфортно слушать, оставайтесь на английском канале, либо же у вас есть возможность выбрать перевод. Это значок глобуса, он может находиться, если вы в мобильном приложении, во вкладке «Подробнее» с тремя точками, он может находиться просто внизу экрана, соответственно, вы нажимаете перевод и английский или русский канал. Владимир просто не подключил еще звук, сейчас тоже мы ему напишем, надо, наверное, перезайти. Нас уже 30 человек, поэтому после технических моментов, да, и не забываем, что у нас есть чат, где вы можете писать вопросы спикерам по ходу, также у нас формат позволяет, разумеется, в конце всем задать вопросы практически вживую, имитируя настоящее человеческое общение, а не общение в формате конференции Zoom. О чем мы сегодня поговорим? Мы назвали заседание «Ритейл в России. Трансформация на спринтерской скорости», потому что за всего лишь несколько месяцев, срок короткий, изменилось полностью наше представление о том, как можно потреблять со стороны клиента, и со стороны компаний представление о том, как можно с клиентом работать, как можно развивать технологии в рознице. И сектор доставки продуктов, да, все это время, мне кажется, все доставки были протестированы, и какие кейсы были успешными, как изменился в целом сектор ритейла. Мы очень благодарны нашим сегодняшним спикерам, это Яндекс.Деньги, ВТБ Капитал, Яндекс.Такси, которые специально для этого заседания подготовили качественную аналитику, которая сегодня с нами поделится. Поэтому не стесняйтесь задавать вопросы, писать комментарии, чтобы сегодняшнее заседание было таким же, как и все наши живые встречи, настоящей платформой для дискуссии. У нас сегодня два комитета, присутствуют два председателя комитета, это председатель комитета по розничной торговле, и Татьяна Колосунина, которой я рада передать слово, председатель нашего комитета по пиар, коммуникациям и маркетингу, и вице-президент по маркетингу Электрощит Самара, группа компаний Schneider Electric. Пожалуйста, Татьяна.
Коллеги, доброе утро, добрый день, в зависимости от того, где вы находитесь. Очень рада, что у нас уже присоединяются участники, вижу 35-36, количество растет. И мы приняли решение объединить комитеты, потому что тема ритейла сейчас волнует и не только ритейла, но и спроса, который влияет на макроэкономические показатели, волнует не только тех, кто работает в области ритейла, но и вообще всех маркетологов, потому что наш внутренний валовый продукт покажет какой-то результат, положительный или отрицательный, это повлияет на спрос во всех отраслях, в том числе в B2B. Были бы вы поставщиком или производите какие-то продукты для корпоративного сектора, в зависимости от того, в каком состоянии будет находиться экономика. Потому что драйверами экономики у нас являются два показателя. Первый – это цены на ресурсы. И цены на ресурсы, понятно, там скорректировалась, конечно, цена, но она недостаточно хорошая для позитивного прогноза. И второе – это то, что происходит в области розничных продаж. Соответственно, сегодня мы послушаем очень интересные доклады, которые подготовили коллеги. Я также, как и Лидия, их видела, они хорошие и уникальные, поэтому предлагаю сейчас уже передавать, наверное, слова спикерам и потом обсудить то, что мы получили, задавать вопросы. И я думаю, что вам будет очень полезно сегодня здесь присутствовать. Спасибо.
Спасибо большое, Татьяна. Уверена действительно, что дискуссия будет интересной. И еще раз просто на английском скажу. Dear all, we have English and Russian languages today. So if you would like to listen in English, please select English language in your Zoom application. Our speakers today will speak English, but you can also listen to them in Russian. И я рада передать слово нашему первому спикеру. Это Алла Бабушкина, начальник отдела международных продаж Яндекс Деньги, с обзором российской электронной торговли в период пандемии. Какие решения применила Яндекс.Касса, правильно, Алла, для бизнеса. Пожалуйста, слово вам.
Hello, everyone. Just give me a second, please. And here we go. My name is Alla, and I'm responsible for international sales at Yandex Money. Thank you again for gathering all together here on Friday. And today we will speak about Russian e-commerce profile during pandemic, and I will describe some beneficial and efficient payment solutions for business which are popular nowadays. To start with, I would like to give a brief description of our company, who we are, what we do, what we are famous for. And it's necessary to mention that Yandex Money belongs to two leading technological and financial companies, Yandex and Sberbank. And we are very proud of this kind of interaction. Well, our main products are B2C and B2B solutions. Yandex Money is our own e-wallet that has been in existence for more than 18 years, and it has more than 60 million registered users, and now it's number one in Russia among all the wallets possible. And our another B2B solution is Yandex Checkout. So we are also payment service provider, and within one integration, one agreement, we provide our merchants with all the wide range of payment local options and help them to work on Russia with the best conversion rate. We have more than 120,000 merchants, and they are not only from Russia. So we help even foreign and global international brands from Europe and other countries to expand to Russia. But why is Russia so attractive for global international merchants? I think it's extremely potential market, and the numbers speaks to the fact. For instance, if we look at the data of 2019, we'll see that there is an incredible growth up to 23% of Russia in e-commerce market growing. And what's more, there is another data that proves the fact that it's a very potential market. So if we compare the period from March till May of this year and the previous one, we have taken the merchants only with turnover more than 5 million rubles per month. Here we see a huge increase of every data, like every check, turnover, also number of transactions per month. And the number and the data is impressive, really. In spite of the fact that this period it was taken during self-isolation, and the pandemic influenced on a lot of industries and business, like retail, offline, tourism, restaurants, everything. In spite even of this fact, we see the huge increase, and that's really impressive. Although March can be a bit tricky because of the average check. In fact, that happened due to the reason that a lot of companies decided at the beginning of pandemic to keep and hold their customers. So they provided them with extra bonuses, discounts, free first month of using their service, and something like that. And we also made a research of our partners with delivery categories and compared April-May of this year with the previous one. We compared the average check and how self-isolation, pandemic influenced on industries. And we see that cosmetic products and services, construction and equipment, unfortunately have less average check than the year before. But as for food and meal delivery and child store, here is a huge increase in average check, and they're on the top right now. That's evident because children stay at home, they don't go to school, nursery, kindergartens, and therefore parents have to feed them somehow and entertain them. We also scrutinized our partners in service categories, and we compared every check again from this year and the last one. And here again, we see that business services and insurance became had an increase in every check, and financial operations like microfinancial organizations and tourism, avia have lower data with every check. And I believe that this data, this picture is relevant to any kind of market and country right now. So we also decided to look at turnover of our partners, the same period, the same turnover with more than 5 million rubles per month. And we noticed that, again, all kinds of services, tourism, avia, software, it has lessened in turnover, and everything that can be delivered to your home, like clothes, shoes, toys, facilities for hobbies, pets, it has increased. But pandemic influenced not only on companies, but also on customers' behavior as well. There was an interview, and customers were asked whether they plan to spend more or less money on next month. And if in Moscow it's like 50-50, in Russia in general, the majority of customers decided to spend less next month. So we see that during self-isolation, even customer behavior was influenced and changed. But who are Russian customers in general? So in my opinion, they're very sophisticated and up-to-date people. So almost 40% of them pay orders online. And what's more, 87% browse the internet on a mobile device. That's very huge and great. And practically half of the orders online are paid from a mobile device. That speaks to the fact that if you have a website, it's great then that you should have also mobile application, or you should have also a mobile version of your website. In this respect, it will be a success because you can interact with your potential customers. There was also an interesting research to disclose gender differences on successful online shopping experience. And we noticed that 65% of women prefer to use mobile sites which are easy to use, like easy to surf, add to cart, and pay. And 44% would like to have free return options. Usually it concerns clothes items. And 44% are interested in loyalty programs like bonuses, free delivery, presents, cashback services. As I have mentioned, Russian customers are very sophisticated. And as for men, here the picture is more precise and concrete. So 30% of them need help from the website. So it's great if there is any kind of online chat in order to interact with the customer. 48% are happy to deal with a trusted brand. And here we see the situation that it's also better when your partners, business partners, are also have good reputation. For instance, logistic company, payment provider, maybe a marketing or cashback service. And what's more, 67% of men among customers want to have convenient payment options, and it's very important on the Russian market. And as we move to payments, I would love to disclose some interesting solutions for business regarding to payments, which can bring you to high conversion rate, because nowadays conversion rate is the most important that should be achieved. And how it can be achieved with payments. So first of all, it's necessary to have as many local payment options as possible. Nowadays, bank cards is not enough, because there are customers who don't want to disclose their card data, for instance, and they think that mobile or online banking is more secure. Others don't just prefer to buy online through e-wallets, for instance. And the more local payment options you have, the more online payments you will have. So it's an additional profit. And it's great when you have not only bank cards, but also local options. Within one integration and one agreement, Yandex Money provides more than 20 payment methods available to our customers and clients. But if you also have Russian-speaking customers, probably you would like to expand and to these countries as well, like Armenia, Georgia, Kazakhstan. And here is situation the same. Bank cards is not enough. Local payment options in these countries are extremely popular. Therefore, it's great if you have a variety of such methods too. As I have said, The more local payment options you have, the better for your business, because online payments will increase in number. As a proof, we have a very successful case with Ivrashare, one of our greatest partners. So when they integrated bank cards, everything was perfect and they were satisfied with the results. But after adding Sberbank Online, Yandex Money and Kiwi wallets, they have noticed that there was an increase of online payments up to 20%. And thanks to our interaction between marketing departments with cashbacks and loyalty programs, the number of unpaid orders has lessened up to 9%. And we have a lot of such successful stories when we help global brands to expand to Russia and work on the Russian market. But payment methods is not all. Everything should influence on conversion, like payment flow, user experience. So here we see a very convenient and fast payment process without any extra fields, extra data, extra steps or redirections. The less fields you have or steps, the better. Customers like when everything is managed very fast, and it influences on impulse purchase as well. So on the card number, CVC, expiration date, and 3 days check, and that's enough for payment in order to have the better conversion. Also, on conversion rate can influence the bank you work with. For instance, if you work with only one bank acquirer or payment provider who has got one bank acquirer, it's a bit risky due to the fact that probably in case of some timeouts or problems, technical ones, there can be no opportunity for customers to pay, as payments won't work. And therefore, it's great, for instance, in Yandex Money, we work with several banks, bank acquirers, and we can immediately switch from one bank to another, and the conversion rate won't suffer. Also, anti-fraud solution will work on conversion rate incredibly. For instance, we have our own anti-fraud, and we have very flexible anti-fraud filters, which we set individually to each industry, each type of business, and each company. And it also helps to increase success rate to our merchants. Well, I would like to disclose some additional features and technical solutions and options which are most demanded on the market right now. For instance, as you know, nowadays there are so many brands, so many projects, and all of them are so different. One project needs to have only recurrent payments, for instance. The other wants to have mass payouts to individuals because it's a cashback service. And maybe the third one would like to have pre-authorization because they store items somewhere and they need to check their availability. So it's great when payment service provider has got all a variety of payment solutions for each of type of the industry. And I would just give a brief short description of the most demanded right now on the market. As I have mentioned, mobile is very popular, and it's great when you can interact with your customers through mobile resources like Messenger, social media, and it's better if you can even help them to pay through these resources. For instance, send them payment links through SMS, online chat, social media, messengers, anything. In this respect, you will have additional online payments and opportunity for customers to pay through these resources. Another solution, which is also demanded on the marketplace right now everywhere, is a marketplace solution. So when there is a platform with several sellers and the customer wants to buy several items from these sellers, then the settlement goes directly to those sellers and the marketplace receives its commission. In this respect, it's great, and the scheme works not only for marketplace but also to franchisee and to any platform that has got its own commission. And the last but not the least solution, which is extremely popular right now, is online installments, payments on loans. So the whole process is managed online without any offline interaction. When the customer receives confirmation, it is done immediately practically. Then he makes the first payment and the seller receives the whole payment for the whole item on the next working day. And then the customer repays the loan according to his schedule. But the seller has nothing to do with this already. And it helps to increase the average check for you because then the customer can afford a more expensive item. It also increases online payments in number and repeats sales. They just increase up to 30%. So, as I have mentioned, in order to achieve huge conversion rate on the market, not only Russian, but in general, it's always a complex combination that should be used, like a variety of local payment options, flexible anti-fraud settings, several bank acquirers, it's also helpful, fast and easy payment flow, which I have shown, and additional payment solutions and tools. In this respect, customers will return to your shop again and again, and probably will stay with you for ages. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed and ready to answer all your questions.
Thank you so much, Alla. It was really interesting and diverse, and I particularly appreciated this comparison, gender comparison, when women and men customers, they have different preferences when shopping online. As for myself, I can share a personal experience. When I have this Apple Pay option on a website, I immediately, it eases me and maybe pushes me to make a purchase easier. Because it's like, okay, it's integrated, it's so familiar, so I will just buy. And when on the other side you have to pass through all this, please fill in your banking card details, I was like, no, thank you. Maybe it's a bit too difficult, and I will make a purchase later, and then I forget to do it, of course. So the quicker takes it all, and the most integrated with different mobile devices takes it all. I think we will leave the floor to questions maybe in the end. If Tatiana, you would like to ask a question now?
I'd like to ask you a little bit more about B2B products. So what exactly do you have, and how do you measure success of B2B, and what do you provide for B2B companies?
Well, we have online B2B solutions for companies in order to manage all the process online. So we help them to get rid of offline stuff and those extra fields and documents that they need to fill. So, and it looks like online payment through Sberbank Online. So it's managed on the website, and it looks like as if you were shopping online at any store. Yeah, and the thing is that for B2B companies, it's more efficient because they see the amount, the company, where the money come from, not after 3 days like nowadays, but immediately. So there's a personal account, and they see all the data that the payment has been done at this time by this company, legal entity, and they can already send the items, the goods, anything, services to their partners. So that's a very, I think, up-to-date solution, and it is nowadays involved into the market.
And who are your biggest customers? And I ask because, you know, in Schneider, we develop a lot for B2B right now, so maybe we are interested.
Well, as far as I know, Ozon was managing it, so probably that's the hugest.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Alla. I'm sure we will have an interesting discussion also at the end. And I'm pleased to pass the floor to Maria Kolbina, who is head of analytics in consumer sector retail in VTB Capital. Please, Maria, floor is yours.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So we can start with the next slide. We cover consumer retail, real estate, agro sectors in VTB Capital. We're looking at Russian, Turkish, Georgian, basically all kind of frontier and emerging markets globally. Our key focus today will be, first of all, to give you a brief update on the Russian food retail market and its overall role in a global context. And then the second part of my discussion will be devoted to new services that has emerged actually pre-pandemic, but gained material focus and material strength throughout quarantine times, not only in Russia, but globally, and what kind of growth prospects we see for this sector in the future. So first of all, a Russian food retail market, given the fact that there is 144 million people living in the country, is the 7th largest globally as retail in general, with 520 billion turnover. Russian food retail is also the 7th largest. If we look at the distribution between food and non-food, then we see quite an even share of these like two major categories. Actually, we gave some analysis, cross-country analysis, and you can see that usually there is quite an even distribution between food and non-food, with some exceptions like Japan, for example, where like food category is a bit smaller, which we think is primarily due to the fact due to the higher overall expenditure and wealth of people. I would say that the key metrics that we look to when we talk about food, when we talk about consumption and people's wealth, is the share of food in total budget. So the higher the share, the poorer the people are. In Russia, the current situation is not really very good, because the share of food in total expenditure is around 46%. So it's multiple times higher than what peers have in Europe and in developed markets. In the best times, like 2007, share of food was 25%, so 13 years ago. Now it's 46%, and it's really has a huge role and has a huge effect on the consumption of categories, on trading up and trading down, on consumption of all non-food products. So in Russia, this share is currently very high. And has materially accelerated throughout the last 3-4 months. Overall, Russian food retail market made a very big push throughout the last years. When I started looking at Russian food retail back in 2005, share of modern retail, and by modern retail we mean the market which is taken out by federal chains, was 25% of total. Now it's almost 76%, which makes Russian food retail in generally more comparable to its peers. Usually in more northern, like European countries, the share of modern retail is high because people traditionally don't go to open markets. They shop inside the stores. Russia, given its like very diverse geography, has features of both like southern country and northern country, so the role of traditional retail will definitely remain quite significant. At this point of time, it's around 24%. Russian food retail has been growing at with around 5% CAGR in the last 5 years. We expect quite comparable growth in the next 5 years as well, quite evenly, with basically two effects, having quite an even contribution, which is real growth of economy and food retail market, and public comments on increase of the selling space of the market. We can move to the next slide. Russian food retail overall, though the share of modern retail makes Russia quite comparable to a number of Western peers, the consolidation is quite low. So top 5 players in Russia have only 32% of the market. So if you look at peers, let's say even in Poland, the number 1 company would have around 21% market share. So we believe that existing offline retails have quite significant opportunities to gain market share and increase their position even within the existing modern food retail pie. So we actually we forecast further increase of market consolidation in Russia in the next 4 or 5 years. On the slide 2, on second graph, we provided some estimates on future market share increase, primarily based on the public announcements of the companies that we look at. In general, again, opposed to a number of peers, cross-country peers, Russian offline retail is not really super concentrated. We measure this by means of penetration of different formats like convenience, supermarkets, hypermarkets per 1,000 people. So actually we are far away from number of European countries. Maybe the only segment which more or less like pops up is convenience retail, where the penetration is a bit higher. Hypermarkets may be the only format which which has been suffering quite significantly, not only in Russia, but at least like in Eastern Europe, given its overall very high penetration. Definitely social distancing actually pushed people away from going to big shopping malls. And you need a card to do your like weekly shopping. So definitely having like a store nearby could, and the increase in number of SKUs and offer in convenience stores made this format more convenient for people and more famous and getting more traffic. So I would say that summing up, Russian food retail market is, first of all, it's very important in a global context. It still continues to grow. It has materially increased the penetration of modern retail, but given the fact that it's not super concentrated in arms of one company, there is a potential for future growth, even with existing big food retail chains like Magnet, X5, Lenta, Krasnaya Bela, etc. So there is a potential for further penetration among all formats. Convenience and supermarkets definitely have more potential in that sense, given a bit of, given they're more flexible in terms of penetration and rolling out throughout the whole country. On the next slide, I've provided some summary of food retail economics by companies. I will not pay too much attention to it. So we provided how many SKUs a hypermarket would have, what is the average store size, number of people. So I would say that the larger the format, the more SKUs it has, because people do weekly shopping rather than like daily shopping. Again, if you do weekly shopping, your average ticket is usually higher. I would pay some attention to profitability of key P&L, profit and loss account lines, saying that I would say Russian retailers are operating at profitability, which somewhere in the middle of European companies. Overall retail is quite low marginal business. It's a business of volume rather than business of profitability. So the larger the company, usually the higher the purchasing power it has, and usually the better its internal operation processes. But having, I would say, the minimum EBITDA margin that I think is affordable for food retail is at least like 5%, because leverage is usually quite decent for the companies, and it allows them to have at least 1% net margin and some decent free cash flow generation. So that's it on the summary of retail economics in general, with particular focus on Russian companies. I would say that the second part of my presentation will be devoted to emergence of a totally new format, not only for Russia, but for, I think, for almost all countries. Let me know if I missed any services globally that do express delivery. Because we have not really found a lot of companies throughout our recent research. So first of all, I would say that food retail was maybe the remaining category of retail where online was one of the smallest. So online has been gradually penetrating to different categories, like consumer electronics, like apparel and footwear, like home and garden, even like health and beauty. It happened definitely more in Western countries, and Russia was one of the last that became quite user-friendly with online in ordering different categories. But to give you an example, when we were placing in video back in 2007 and we're doing road shows to US investors, the share of online was less than like 1 or 2% for the company. So it was very marginal. So we sold like offline in consumer electronics. And in US, investors were really like almost laughing to our faces, saying, guys, do you really go to the store to buy electronic goods? It's so like, you don't need a personal touch. It's very uniform products. So no one is really doing this in the States anymore. And for us, it was like, okay, we go to the shop, we need to select this dishwasher, we need, I don't know, to press certain buttons. The situation is definitely totally different now. I believe that a lot of you guys haven't gone to any consumer electronic shops, or you made significant share of your purchases throughout internet. Now the share of sales in this category is almost 35%, and most of the stores are basically used as showrooms. So you just want to check design and to see how things works. Food retail globally was the segment where online penetration was small, not only in Russia, but even in the States and in UK. So next slide, we can see the share of online in food across the whole country. So in Russia, it's as small as 0.3%. In France, it's like, according to the Euromonitor data, it's around 3%. In Germany, it's 0.8%. States less than 2%. UK 4.6%. So it's really small. I think one of the smallest overall among different retail segments. Nevertheless, I would say that at least in big cities, as people have a lot of traffic, they really care about time. They became more used to ordering different food categories online. And what happened since March globally and in Russia in particular accelerated the growth of different online deliveries. I believe that a lot of you made different orders throughout Перекресток, Азбука Вкуса, different delivery platforms in Moscow over the last 3 months. And you saw that a number of different services were actually struggling. So ordering something with Перекресток could take like a few days. And again, eventually you went to the store and did your own purchases. I think that even in pre-pandemic times, if you had to order something from hypermarket, it was delivered to your house at least within like few hours or even next day in Moscow. So, but you needed these products now within like 15 or 20 minutes. The only service which allows you to have products delivered to your house, the same as you, I don't know, open a water tap and you have water in your house, you don't need to go outside and collect water, was express delivery business that provided that you have your products in Moscow or in St. Pete within 15 minutes. So we are at your house within 15 minutes. You don't need to wait 1 hour. You don't need like a courier to check the time slots that you need. You need tomatoes that will be delivered to your house. So it's as easy as having like canalization or water in your flat. And this pandemic times really accelerated the need of this service globally. I would say that when we checked, we actually identified that this niche is totally open, not only in Russia, but globally. The only, let's say, sizable player that has such service is a company called Getir, the business which is based on the platform of taxi in Istanbul, the city of like 15 million plus people, that delivers around 800 SKUs to your house within 15 minutes. We first met guys around 2 years ago. Now they have around $120 million sales. There is a company called GoPath in the States, which provides quite similar service. And there are 2 companies in Russia called Samokat and Yandex.Lavka, with both of them giving significant market shares over the last 1.5 years. Otherwise, we haven't seen any sizable players that would have this service. At this point of time, online food retail is around 0.3% of total food retail sales. And they have 42 billion turnover based on 2019 numbers. And the service of express delivery is only 2% of that. So it's actually almost zero. But at the same time, we forecast express delivery business being one of the most highest growing segment in Russia, with the share potentially accounting for 27% in the future, as people will continue to social distance, at least in the coming year, potentially, or at least half a year, in the next like 6 months. Secondly, because it's simply as that. The products are in your house within 15 minutes. You don't need to do this click and collect functions. You don't need to wait till tomorrow. If you forgot to order something for your salad or, I don't know, for your soup, you can reorder, and it's another 15 minutes and it's already in your house. So we think that this niche is open in Russia and globally, and has one of the highest potential. Because as people will be getting used to this service, they will trust the quality and they will trust the level of service of these players, and they will be more closer to your house with very high penetration, at least in big cities. Again, that will be as easy as opening a water tap. So we see them as a basically new layer of social housing globally, particularly in bigger cities, where people, again, care about time, they care about money, there is a lot of traffic, and you have more fun than going to a food retail store. You can go to a gym, you can spend time with your family. So Samokat provided some numbers which were really fantastic, that they saved how many hours of life they saved for people delivering food to their products. So we really underestimate the times that we do different grocery purchasing. So we actually view it as a new emerging segment globally. We see it again as a new layer of social infrastructure. We think that this service has huge potential for growth in our country. We think that both of these companies and existing offline retailers will be accelerating their growth in express delivery business. Moscow and St. Pete definitely are the most affluent cities with very high density of population. So definitely delivery is a bit easy, but we see huge potential for rolling out this business to a lot of Russian cities, at least cities with above 1 million people and quite huge traffic. So that's the segment which we see as the most potentially interesting and really totally different from technology-wise from existing infrastructure of big offline retailers. It's all about technology, it's all about time, it's all about level of service. We think that potentially this express delivery business can deliver anything to your house within like shortest period of time. And what is more important from real estate perspective, they don't need to rent expensive shops at the intersections of street where there is a lot of traffic generation. They can be basically, the most important feature for them is to be nearby your house. So they can rent any sort of like real estate facilities. They don't need to pay huge rent. They just need to be within 15 minutes from your house. Actually, they need to be like around 7-8 minutes from your house, because another 5-7 minutes is assembling of your food order. So that's, I would say, a totally new animal for our sector with one of the hugest growth potential. Let me know if I can answer your questions. We provided on page 7 data on existing express delivery business here and there, on data of different existing stock-up retailers, like traditional ones like Utkanos, Перекресток, iGoods. Again, there is quite a big differentiation between express delivery and what, again, hypermarket delivery does for you.
So thank you very much, Maria. Maybe a question about your personal but also professional perspective. Have you seen some services that have been not up to the level of expectations? Like, for example, from my side, it was Utkanos. I've been a loyal client for many years, but they could not cope with this increased demand. But some new services appeared, and when we discovered them, we started to use them. So have you, in the analysis, but also as a client, discovered something new during this pandemic situation? And according, once again, to statistics, but also to your personal experience, have some other actors proven themselves as non-effective?
So I would say that as a customer, and I would say that what happened in pandemic times put significant pressure to online channel of any retailer, even like apparel and footwear and consumer electronics, because some categories like really boosted. Even if you look at like different sport categories, then the delivery time could be up to a month, because the business was not prepared towards increased the demand 10 times for certain categories, like different office products, which became particularly important in pandemic times as people now refurbish their houses, making certain like office conditions in their flats. Secondly, food, particularly in second half, particularly in starting from like early April, as quarantine was imposed from 28th of March. Actually, once I had to wait for перекресток order for a week. So I checked an application as I'm in Moscow region with my family. Then it said like, we'll deliver to your house in a week time. So I checked another day. It just simply did not accept an order. And in a week, of course, I did my purchases. I went, I checked перекресток online again, as I was quite a regular user. And they delivered products to my house, but they forgot half of it. So I would say that, and it's not, I would say, I wouldn't blame перекресток. I think if I checked Utkano's or I checked OK or checked any other existing online application, I would encounter the same problem. The system was not able to adjust that fast to increase demand from customers. So I think same happened in office life of most people. So as people started to work remotely, certain IT system was not able to have, again, the same speed of operations. Because one day you have, again, 1,000 people not working in the office, but working from home and all in remote access. I think that now this situation has materially improved. So there is definitely no problem with doing different online delivery. But I would say that the peculiarity of express delivery business opposed to, let's say, any traditional hypermarket delivery globally, as they have smaller dark stores spread out the whole city, rather than having two big warehouses somewhere in the center, that one day have, I don't know, 100 times bigger number of orders, and they need to somehow, you know, do this delivery. So if you have, let's say, not two, but 222 smaller dark stores across city, it makes you more flexible in terms of delivery to certain house. You can basically перераспределять потоки клиентов throughout, again, different smaller dark stores. So it allowed them to cope better with material increase in customer flow through online. And secondly, their business is purely online. They are not part of big offline platform. So it's online business per se. The thing that they did during pandemic times was that they stopped accepting cash because it's a sort of like infection spread. So you clicked, you paid, and they delivered to your house contactless. So you picked up the goods. So in that sense, I think that the business model, the nature of the business model of express delivery allows companies to cope better with increase in traffic, having more spread out base. So it's the same as having пятерочка across, let's say, Moscow or Magnet and Krasnodar, but you simply cannot enter the store. But at the same time, this magnet delivers to your house and it's next door to you. So it will suffer less from increased pressure during any, again, pandemic times. And I think that if, again, I was quite dissatisfied with work of any online hypermarket delivery, in current environment, most likely certain share of customers will not remain customers of this service because they were quite dissatisfied with the previous experience. And I think the most important thing for online delivery in food category is that you need to make sure that what you have on the picture, if you see, let's say, tomato from Azerbaijan, or I don't know, cucumber, then it tastes as if it's like from Azerbaijan. So it's totally different from consumer electronics. So if you buy a dishwasher Whirlpool, it will be dishwasher Whirlpool, and you know the functions. Here you need to trust the deliverer. You need to trust that what you see on the picture is actually the quality that you get. And I think that increasing level of service, increasing loyalty among customers is a key success measure for this business. If people will be dissatisfied, if the expiry date is not there, then people will not use this service anymore. It makes it totally different from delivering non-food products.
Thank you very much, Maria. Tatiana, do you have any questions, comments?
No, I want to say thank you very much, Maria. It was very, very interesting and deep analysis which you presented. And I have read quite before your presentation. And by the way, do you see Ozon as competitor of all those platforms which you demonstrated today?
Ozon, sorry, is a competitor for?
For food retail, you know, because they try to go to this market, but not sure if this model will succeed.
You know, it's a good question. I remember when we did a number of road shows for Magnet, and when previous shareholder was asked, whom do you see as a competitor for your business? Magnet, I mean. He said that even Babushka that sells tomatoes near metro station is already our competitor. So here the situation is the same. So anyone who sells this category is your competitor already. And though Ozon started with non-food category, they have pretty good awareness. They have a rather strong distribution network. And I would say that they're competitors. But I still see that it's a bit of a different segment rather than express delivery. If you want to have something to your store for your to your house for the breakfast or for lunch in the next half hour, you go to Samokat or to Yandex. Ozon will deliver it maybe in the evening or maybe tomorrow. Again, it's a bit of different it's a bit of different infrastructure. But yes, they sell food, and I think that for weekly shopping, they can be viewed as a competitor to hypermarkets. So you buy things in bulk, they deliver to you tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm not sure if they do super fresh products. I haven't checked it. But I think that in any kind of bulky items, they're quite good. But again, it's more of weekly shopping experience rather than daily shopping experience. So in that sense, Samokat and Yandex, for me, the key competitors for them among offline would be Peterочка, Magnet, and any convenience business, and even like supermarket chains. But anyone who does food delivery is a competitor.
Thank you.
Thank you. And please, everyone, you can write your questions in the chat, but I can also see here some of our regular retail committee members. So Patrick, Mathieu, Vincent, please don't hesitate also to take the floor to ask some questions. This is a free floor for discussion. You don't even need our permission. We have one more speaker left, last but not least, and we will continue with this discussion afterwards. So I'm pleased to give the floor to Igor Shlakov, head of B2B sales with Yandex Taxi. We've been speaking about express delivery. So the success story, may I say, by Yandex Taxi, who readjusted services during the pandemic, and what are also your prognostic for the post-COVID-19 era?
Hello, Lydia. Hello, everyone. It's a great opportunity to perform at this conference. So, my name is Igor Shlakov, and I'm the head of B2B sales in Yandex Taxi for Business. So, today I will tell you about express delivery service based on Yandex Taxi and what Yandex made and managed to the conditions of pandemic. The pandemic caused an enormous damage to the business. Every industry suffered, regardless of the size of your business. Most of them weren't be ready to face such difficulties and didn't know what to do and how to handle with it. And our service, Yandex Taxi, tried to help not only for himself, but also for different areas for business. So at first, I wanted to tell what is it Yandex Taxi for Business in numbers. It's 4 countries of presence: Russia, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and Israel. It's more than 600 cities through the whole territory of Russia. It's more than 60,000 corporate clients and more than 600,000 drivers in a fleet. So why we decided to make an express delivery at all? We noticed that our drivers, the regular taxi drivers, started to deliver goods from online shops, started to deliver urgent documents, flowers, everything but not passengers. And we understood that the market needs a separate product as an express delivery. Usually, if a company doesn't have their own logistic department, they have to wait about 3 or 4 hours for a courier, for outsourced courier. And we wanted to create a service where a courier comes in 5 and 10 minutes and deliver orders about 30 or 40 minutes. And we did it. So now we can offer our clients the next benefits. We are available in more than 350 Russian cities. Average delivery time in Moscow and other big cities about 35 minutes. We're adding up to 40 stops in one single order. Organization of delivery up to 300 orders at one time. Also, we implemented electronic consignment note. It's a very important legal document which confirms that the customer received the parcel or package, digital signature. For our clients, we can offer different types of delivery to cover all the needs. The first one is a simple food courier. He can bring up to 10 kilograms. This is the most profitable option. Door-to-door delivery is already included. Delivery, it's a taxi. It can get on board up to 20 kilograms package. This is the fastest option. The driver will pick up the order in 5 minutes and then will deliver it. If our clients wanted to transfer something very heavy, we have a cargo. It can bring on board up to 1.5 ton, and also we have an opportunity for our clients choosing the size of the car for the dimensions of the cargo. So next, I wanted to show you some statistics on the first half of the current year. We can see a slightly growth from January to February. It's about 47%. Then we organically grew by 86%, and then in March, we faced the pandemic. Isolation measures were being introduced. All public places such as restaurants, shopping malls, theaters, cinemas, cafes are closed. Companies started to move their employees to remote work. And all these restrictive measures made a huge impact on retail, and we saw a big interest for online services. Life in the cities stopped, but the simple needs are still in require. And we noticed that there is a big demand of a service express delivery from small and medium business, but also from the big one. And I can't say that we didn't expect this, but it was a good surprise for us. Even such a huge companies, they faced a lot of problems in express delivery due to sharply increased demand. And our service was very convenient for them. We delivered goods for Leroy Merlin. I saw a representative here in presentation. We delivered furniture with Hof, delivered products with Ocean. We have delivered Ozon. Also, we delivered thousands of orders with Vkusville. I will tell about this project just a little bit later. Home appliances with Eldorado, SIM cards for Tele2. And also I wanted to mention that we were the first company who received the permission to deliver non-prescription medication for pharmacy chains. What?
Now just someone randomly switched on the sound.
Okay.
No problem.
Medication from pharmacy chains. Here we faced the first problem. Some medications should be stored at fridges. So we started immediately supplying our couriers and drivers with thermobags to maintain the temperature of these medicines. And we did it, and now we are cooperating with the largest pharmacy chains in the Russia Federation. For small and medium business, we proved as to be the best solution because they could continue to provide the services. You know, such companies, they simply don't have time and resources to reorganize their capacities to continue to work. That's why they couldn't react properly to pandemic conditions. And that's why we understood that we should improve our service. We started to implement the new features and upgrading our existing solutions. I will give you an example. As my memory, it was a bakery from suburbs of Moscow, a small bakery. And before the pandemic, hundreds of people came in and buying their products. But after the pandemic, they have to deliver it. And they don't have their own logistic department. So they started to cooperating with us. And one time they received, I don't know, remember the number, but I think it's approximately 60 orders. They received in the evening 60 orders, and in the morning, all these orders must be delivered. Before, these clients have to order 3 couriers, and this is unprofitable for small business. And we receive a huge number of requests to increase this number. And we increase number of adding stops per one order from 20 to 40. That's why we helped small business to survive, to delivering their goods to their customers and to stay alive at the pandemic conditions. Also, we upgraded, by the way, we faced another one problem. We can deliver only prepaid orders. And thanks for my colleagues from Yandex Money, we're cooperating and we made a solution for post-paying system. After that, we upgraded our, we reduced time of the connection to our service. And now we have 2 products, 2 ways to connection for different types of clients. We have business accounts for online stores and small businesses, registration just only in 5 minutes, payment by credit card, mobile application and web interface for orders and delivery control. Detailed report every month. For larger retailers, we have a corporate agreement. We reduced registration by 1 day, personal account with online reporting, app integration, closing documents, personal manager, and dedicated support line. All of these actions allows us to show an incredible growth in April, plus more than 700%. In May, we continue to make the same approach, and we perform plus 190%. In June, the isolated measures are being to be reduced. Cafes, shopping malls are starting to be opened, and employees are going to return to their workplaces, but we expect that express delivery service will be relevant and in the post-pandemic period. So in June, we're expecting to show the same numbers like in May. I wanted to show you the dynamics of market segments from April to May because it's 2 incredible months for every business because of pandemic. We can see the amazing growth of children's goods. We expect this because such products is very essential for clients for people with children. Flowers and gifts, it was very pleasant that people don't forget about gifts and don't forget about to make an entertainment for their relatives and friends. HoReCa and food supply was affected by the pandemic most of all. I have already told you what we've done to support them, to deliver, to help them to continue their work. Also, we see a huge growth from IT, sport goods, retail trade. Have already said, and my colleagues, people sitting at home they still have their simple needs. So that's why everybody was growing. I wanted to show you our project with Vkusvil. It's a big Russian product chain. So we started cooperating in March. We integrated with them by API. So, and I will tell you the scheme of working. The customer adds the product to the cart and places an order. Then in delivery option, customer chooses express delivery service. Vkusvil saw this order in our personal account. He confirms and completes the order and calls the courier. In 5 minutes, courier arrives and courier picks up the product and immediately goes to the client. So it's about, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes and all your order is in your house, like my colleague said before from VTB. It's very easy to deliver with our service, and we made 1,000 of orders with Vkusvil. We deliver it to isolated people. The market changed during the pandemic and influence on all segments. And it will continue to change even after the post-pandemic period. According to our forecasts, express delivery will be relevant not only in context of the pandemic, but also continue to show growth. We have a lot of plans to develop our service and make it as much as convenient as it possible. And we are constantly wanting to make our clients happy. We will be glad to see you among our clients. Thanks for watching. If you colleagues, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I will try to answer.
Thank you very much. A really interesting presentation, and I was quite surprised. Well, I read it before, but I was quite surprised by the numbers that children's good boomed for at more than 4,000%. This was quite impressive. From my side, what I experienced, and it was also the same for our French companies, sports goods. IT, of course, because you have to work from home, and some of our partners just simply didn't have the necessary IT equipment there to make it comfortable working the whole day. But children's good, that's quite impressive. So that's the first priority, of course, when the schools are closed. And yes, by the way, this success story with Vkusvil is quite interesting. We've been speaking with our previous experts about the chains that boomed and the chains that did not cope with the pandemic. Vkusvil is quite a success story. So it's interesting how they readjusted different formats from offline regular stores to just delivery to isolated people and delivery with the Yandex Taxi. So thank you for sharing. Tatiana, maybe some comments from your side.
For me, it's all clear. Thank you very much. So we have about 50 people online, so maybe there are other questions than us.
Yeah, colleagues, please don't hesitate to ask the questions. We are ready to answer.
Yes, I had one question in the chat from Patrick, who's the president of our retail committee. Question is to Maria. Well, Maria, you know that to deal with food retail, and we presented this analytics concerning food retail, but the question is about La Moda, like you for an expert. How do you read this exodus of Top La Moda to Magnet, and what is the impact not only on food but also on Magnet cosmetics? And if Patrick, you would like to complement it, of course, please feel free to precise your question. I can see your phone.
Yeah, this is Patrick. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. No, it was meant obviously to Maria, who was talking about the food industry and mentioned Magnet. So recently we saw one of the co-founder of Magnet rejoin. One of the co-founder of La Moda rejoined Magnet, and with him he brought an entire team. So what I was wondering is, what does it mean for Magnet? Okay, what do we see? What changes are we going to see at Magnet in terms of e-commerce? And obviously, my background being cosmetics, what is it going to do also to Magnet Cosmetics, which is fairly underdeveloped right now in e-commerce?
Maria, do we still have you? I think we've lost Maria.
I'm sure Maria is there. Yeah.
Maybe she's trying to reconnect. Maybe okay. From other experts, since you know the market and you are analyzing it.
I didn't see the last part of the question. Patrick, can you repeat, please, the last part of your question?
The question is the top management of La Moda.ru, including one of the co-founders of La Moda.ru, left for Magnet. So there's an entire team of La Moda.ru that rejoined Magnet. My question is, what do we see as the consequences for Magnet of this exodus or reinforcement of their e-commerce capabilities? And subsidiary question, what impact could this have on Magnet Cosmetics, which right now is fairly underdeveloped?
For me, it's very difficult to answer because I'm not working in such theaters, but it's better to ask exactly La Moda and Magnet, or maybe Maria can answer, but I'm sorry, but it's very difficult for me to answer. I can't take such responsibility to make any forecasts about their cooperation.
Yes, no, but Maria was connected through.
I understand that.
I can gather that it was out of battery, but we will pass on the question to her. Unless maybe Alla, you would like to comment on that.
Well, we can only predict because it's the inside processes, and everything depends on the how business will be managed by the infrastructures and how they will push, and everything can happen. We know that Wildberries was planning to sell air tickets on their website, which was extremely unusual, and a lot of such collaborations and changes appears, and they try to experiment nowadays. And I think that it's great when projects try to be various and they try to expand to different industries and try them. Probably one of them will be a success and it will influence somehow. But nowadays the situation on the market is so unpredictable that you can't foresee whether this or that solution will be really of great value and it will work now. Maybe it was before pandemic very easy to foresee, but nowadays who knows.
Thank you very much. And maybe the question from my side would be to our participants. I can see here our companies, Leroy Merlin, Yelena, and I think Mathieu has left, but the perspective from the retailers, would you like to maybe comment on the situation, share your success stories in English or in Russian? Коллеги, вопрос к нашим участникам. Вижу, что сегодня у нас присутствует несколько ритейлеров, участники нашего комитета. Может быть, захотите поделиться на русском, на английском языке, как вам комфортнее прокомментировать сегодняшнее выступление. Вот я вижу, что Елена из Leroy Merlin, да, здесь присутствует, Евгения из Louis Vuitton. Please feel free to comment, maybe to share some of your ideas if you'd like to. or everything was very clear, and so the information was so complete that not more, not questions anymore. Maybe Tatiana, final comments from your side, and waiting for maybe some questions in the chat, and then we'll say goodbye and hello to weekend.
I think today we had very rich content. Again, thank you very much, speakers. It was, I think, a great opportunity to learn more about retail nowadays. So, Alla, Maria, and Yegor, I hope to see you again on our committees. So today you were on joint committee, retail and marketing, and I hope you stay with us. But next time we will be separated. I think next time we will be more focused on communications in marketing. So it was a unique opportunity to work together today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
The question was whether we can share the slides from today.
Yes.
Of course, with the speaker's permission, we'll send the PDF versions, and we've also made the video of this session, which once again, with the speaker's permission, will be put on the YouTube channel of Franco-Russian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So thank you once again to everyone. Fingers crossed for all of it to end soon and for us to meet in real life. Thank you. Have a nice day and a wonderful weekend.
Merci.
Thank
Merci.
you.
Excellent. Bonsoir. Au revoir.
Thank you.
Bon
Have a nice
weekend.
weekend.
Au revoir.
People watching us from Paris. It's a pleasure.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a
Au
nice day.
revoir.
Хорошего дня. Спасибо.
Goodbye, everyone.